Good morning. How is everybody today? Astra is very loud this morning, so if you hear her making the song of her people in the background, then just send her love. She's a bit of a riot today. Oh, I had a wonderful talk with my mentor yesterday. I had wonderful client sessions yesterday. It was a beautiful day. And today is Friday. We made it to the end of the week, guys. And next week, there won't be any daily devotions. I didn't get any extra recorded. I didn't get anything extra posted on the calendar. I get a week off, and I'm gonna take it. It's actually more than a week. It's a week and a couple days. So there won't be any daily devotions for a week and a while, so don't panic. I'll be back, I promise. This week has been, wow, this week has been a journey. Two amazing cards, Condor and Jaguar. Wow, that Jaguar card I really needed yesterday. And with Condor the day before, that energy has just been really, I think the word would be lifting me up, making me feel better, really helping me reframe, and giving me that place of peace, really giving me that place of peace during the day, and that affirmation and validation of peace and bliss, and knowing that I'm doing the right thing, and giving grace and compassion, right, where they need to go. So today's card is White Buffalo Woman. And she came up today. And I think she is the perfect card for the end of the week. I really do. Let me read it to you for you. In the Native American tradition, the Sioux Mother, White Buffalo Woman, is a symbol of rebirth and spiritual promise. The story of her coming tells of two young men who witnessed her divine radiance. One watched with appropriate awe, whilst the other simply desired White Buffalo Woman's body and stretched his hand out to touch her. His disrespect cost him his life, as lightning struck him down, just as the correct recognition afforded the other man spiritual blessing. The White Buffalo Woman evokes the restoration of the sacred. She demands respectful relationship with each other, whether you like the person, agree with their worldviews or not, and requires that we each assume our rightful place in the community, which means not discounting your talents either, nor trying to take your place or anyone else's place by force. For those of us attempting to awaken higher values in closed hearts that are unwilling to shift from more self-serving ways, the White Buffalo Woman brings a message of divine justice. This is not about revenge or mean-spirited definition of karma and people getting what they deserve. For if one is disconnected enough from the heart to be self-serving, then one is already in a living hell. The divine justice that White Buffalo Woman heralds is the restorative and correcting power of Great Spirit that will always find a way. If Great Spirit needs us to use an unlikely candidate to do that, then it will. The divine is not limited to what we think is going to work. It is powerful in ways that are beyond human comprehension. It is able to enact divine law and elicit restoration, even when we wonder if it's all falling apart right before our eyes. This doesn't mean that we give up the fight, but rather, we are renewed with optimism and enthusiasm to embrace our journey with the greatest ally working alongside us. We find comfort knowing that Great Spirit is with us, not doing for us, but neither turning away from us when we are in need. We feel a more peaceful trust in the ultimate success of our purpose, for no matter how many twists and turns the path takes, behind and in front of every unexpected obstacle, Great Spirit is present. Behind every at first unwanted adversary, through which we develop an important skill or deepen an unconditional reliance and trust in the divine, Great Spirit is there. For those of us that love the light and labor with great passion and perseverance, we need legitimate signs of hope to help us keep the faith in our progress and trust in the value of our contribution. For the evidence of good works is not always seen straight away. That the spiritual worlds love us enough to send us saviors is a testament to how closely we are held and known in the divine heart. These divine beings help us when we are struggling to make the transition to the next stage of our spiritual evolution, individually and collectively. Savior beings are our spiritual midwives, the birthing mothers and protective fathers who are guiding the human collective into spiritual maturity. White Buffalo Woman brings you the saving grace to progress spiritually and to know in your heart and your soul that you shall see the sacred restored to its rightful place and spiritual harmony between heaven and earth. So this is kind of, this is just really pretty. I have hope for your pure heart, and White Buffalo Woman appears as the divine sign of rebirth and harmony. She is the way shower who lives as one with Great Spirit. She teaches the practices that will free and empower us all. She heralds the birth of the divine upon the new earth. You are held in her heart, and you will recognize her beautiful grace of spirit in your own. I love this. You know, I think after this week and some things that have bubbled up for me, this is exactly what I needed. I needed a card, and I think we all need that card of understanding that things aren't always pretty. Things aren't always easy. Things are kind of messy sometimes. And divine is not limited to what we think is going to work. It is powerful in ways beyond our comprehension. It is this energy and the divine law that elicits restoration, even when we wonder if it's all falling apart in front of our eyes. Monday was a very confusing day for me. And I'm not going to talk about what happened, but when I talked to my mentor yesterday, it was kind of a funny conversation because I kind of updated my mentor on everything that's happened. And my mentor said, you know, you can't fix crazy, right? And I went, oh, is that what's going on? And he goes, yeah. Like, my mentor is an amazing human being. And the comment of, you can't fix crazy, because that was literally the first thing that my mentor said after I kind of explained what happened. You can't fix crazy. And it occurred to me that, well, one, this is the second time it's happened, right? Two, I already kind of knew there was something going on, but I wasn't sure. Like, I didn't know what I was seeing. I didn't know what I was feeling. And I didn't know. Crazy's something that I grew up with crazy. You can't fix crazy. My mother's crazy. Like, there's crazy, right? And usually crazy comes from damage or trauma or whatever, and that person can't get there. That person can't get to a place of healing, and it's always going to be somebody else's fault. And it's always going to be, they don't want to hear, they just don't want to deal with what's really going on. They just don't. They have good intentions. They really do. They're not bad people, right? It's just, they can't get there. And that's part of their journey, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there is a societal stigma that comes from that, you know. I mean, I have experiences where I have adoptive family members that they would probably benefit from a little bit of medication to help them, because they struggle with things that if a little bit of medication would get them over the hump, basically, is what I'm saying. But sometimes when there's a lot of trauma in the brain, emotional or physical or whatever kind of trauma there was, you have to be willing to recognize it to heal it, okay? And not being able to recognize it or refusing to recognize it, you can't heal it, okay? And that gives you that crazy button, right? But I still have hope. I still have hope. I still have positive thoughts, and I want people to be able to heal. I don't want them to suffer, because that crazy, whatever you want to talk about it, is a kind of suffering. There's suffering with that. There's suffering and pain, and there's suffering with confusion and denial and loneliness, because they don't have connections to heal with or from. They just want somebody to give it to them. You know, it'd be like the example of, here is the cure for the crazy. I'm going to give you this cup. But they can't drink what's in it. It's hard. It's because it went from fluid in my hands to a hard substance in their hands. They can't get to it because they're not ready, and they're not in a place that they realize that they have to pour their own cup. They have to really do their own hard work. And my beautiful mentor, really helped me understand that. I mean, it's not like I intellectually don't understand this. It's that this came at me sideways. I was not prepared for it. You know, when people come for readings, you know, they ask questions, right? But that doesn't mean that the answers I give them are what they want. I'm not going to make it up. I'm not going to give them falsities, and I'm not going to pander to ego. I'm a psychic, okay? Like, this is how this works. I do understand that sometimes people aren't ready for those answers. And I have done readings where, well, let me rephrase that. I have done the session where that person has paid for their session, they have showed up for their session, and okay, this is not going to work. I'm going to give you some names to other people to go see. I'm going to refund your money. Have a good time. Because I know that it's not going to work. And that refusal just creates so much tension and negativity. And if somebody can't be in a place to be ready to heal and ready to understand and ready to be in that place of grace, I can't help them. Maybe somebody else can. And not every psychic is a good fit for every client. You know, I had another mentor of mine I talked to earlier in the week, and that mentor made the comment, she said, you know, it's one of those things where I can't make your blueprint say something it doesn't say. And I can't change the answer to please what you want. I don't want you to be afraid. I don't want you to be angsty. I don't want you to be upset. But that's the way it is. We don't always get what we think we want. White Buffalo Woman is she demands respectful relationship with each other. Whether you like the person or agree with their worldviews is irrelevant, and requires that we each assume our rightful place in the community, which means not discounting our talents nor trying to take the place by force. For those of us attempting to awaken higher values and closed hearts, we are unwilling to shift from more self-serving ways. White Buffalo Woman brings the message of divine justice. This is not about revenge or mean-spirited definition of karma. For if one is disconnected enough from the heart to be self-serving, then one is already in a living hell. The divine justice of White Buffalo Woman heralds the restorative and corrective power of Great Spirit. Great Spirit needs to use an unlikely candidate to do that. They will. The divine is not limited to what we think is going to work. It is powerful in ways beyond human comprehension. It is able to enact divine law and elicit restoration even when we wonder if it's all falling apart in front of our eyes. I tell every single client, when you refer people, just bring into your place of awareness that not everybody's going to be ready, and that's okay. There's a lot of healing that needs to take place in this world, and I'm a healer in my own way, right? Like I'm a healer based on the gifts that I have, and I am working on a book and I'm bringing things forward. I'm very conscientious that if you're ready for your blueprint activation, I am definitely right here for you, right? But not everybody's ready for that, and I'm okay with that too. We are all on our own journey, and White Buffalo Woman gives us heart to trust. And I trust her guidance. I trust Divine Spirit, Father Sky. I trust the elements, my guides. Oh my goodness, yesterday I was sitting here in the living room and I was watching a movie, tail end of the night, right before bed. And one of my guides kind of went, tap, tap, tap. Hey, Red, tap, tap, tap. So I turned the movie off and I listened for a minute. And then I was just enveloped in this big hug from I call him my no humor guide. He's more of a angel entity of a kind. No sense of humor, but just love, just pure love. And he gives me this big hug. And the affirmation, it was this overwhelming body and soul affirmation of, you have done everything you needed to do. You can't fix crazy. Not everybody you can get to. It's sad, but fill yourself with love, and the people that need you will find you. And you're now in a place, and the pace is going to pick up, and you need to find your strength. And I'm going to give you all the help in the world you can. I'm summarizing, but that was kind of like what it felt like. And it was just this overwhelming, it's going to be okay. Daily devotions is part of that, making sure that I'm sharing my journey with you is going to help those who need it find their way. And building the community. We have to have support in our journey. Like, you can be ready for the cup, right? You can be ready to receive that knowledge and ready to work on the hard stuff, but it's hard. Oh my God. There are times in my life that I'm doing the heavy lifting. I'm doing a lot of work on myself, but I'm doing it all alone. At some point in your life, you always have stuff you do have to do alone, and that's okay, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But even in that alone time, it would be really nice to know you could call somebody up, right? White Buffalo Woman reminds us that the divine helpers always come into our life when we need it. The spiritual worlds love us enough to send us saviors as a testament to show us how closely we are held and known in the divine heart. Divine beings help us when we are struggling to make the transition into the next stage of our spiritual evolution, individually and collectively. Savior beings are the spiritual midwives, the birthing mothers and protective fathers who guide the human collective to spiritual community. We're all in this together, guys. And it is so important that we really make the connections within our community and support one another. We've been doing this alone for so long. Our modern Western societal ideal means you grow up with your family, right? And it's not a generational family. You don't have your grandmothers or aunts and uncles or anybody living in your home. You don't live with cousins anymore, right? You grow up in one home. You graduate into, you buy your own home, and you connect with a partner, and you repeat that non-generational, not community supportive life. And people get sucked into cults, people get sucked into dysfunctional relationships in community, arguing with their neighbors and being against the people around them because there's so much broken community. There's a lot of energy, broken energy, and we need to fix that. And daily devotional for me is my reaching out and my trying to create a community. Wow. So we had some pretty good cards this week. We had Condor and Jaguar and White Buffalo Woman. So spend some time with your community this weekend. Really get outside too. Connect with Mother Earth. Get outside every day. Take a walk. I know we're moving into winter, and I know ideally for some people that's not great. I look forward to this season with so much excitement. I'm not a hot weather person. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Have a beautiful weekend. Have a wonderful week. Next week, I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be camping. I'm just so excited. And of course, I want to share that excitement. Don't forget to go check out my YouTube channel. It's under Red Moon Eagle, and it's Elemental Healing, and I have years of daily devotions on there. I've been doing it since 2017, guys, so even though I'm not around next week, you are more than welcome to go find some older daily devotions and go back and find your favorite one and listen to it and really tap in and ground in and work on you. You have so much support and so much growth. Your guides are always with you. You can always communicate with them. And I hope you all have a blessed week, and I will see you somewhere around the 12th in prayer. Blessed be.